everybody. It is your favorite Yap artist. We are 1 week into the NBA season. There's a lot to discuss, a lot to go over. Today, we're going to look at some of the disappointing starts. There's a few teams that have really not looked good out the gates. These are teams that we expected to be, if not competitive, then conference finals contenders. And they have not been that so far. So we're going to talk about some of these teams. Which teams are we actually concerned about? Which teams are we not concerned about? If you guys like this content, leave a like, leave a comment. Liking the video is free. I always have to point that out. If you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure you do so. We post pretty much daily content on here. I just want to get into it because, last night we saw a couple of these teams lose. We saw, spoiler alert for some of the teams we'll see in here. We saw Orlando lose another game. We saw Atlanta lose another game. We saw the Mavs lose another game. And it's time to kind of get into some of these teams and whether or not we should be concerned. This is a PowerPoint slide that I made, disappointment by the. Again, the is kind of what I'm going by now. It's all kind of a work in progress. We're trying to figure it out. Now, not a lot of disappointment for me in my life. I'm more of a appointment guy. No disappointment, more appointment. Do the math on that. Let's start with the Atlanta Hawks. Okay, I'm going to put a little emoji for what I'm thinking. Am I concerned? Am I not concerned? I'm perked up a little bit by this Atlanta Hawks team because they've got a lot of new pieces that they're trying to figure out. They have their biggest strength as a team besides Trae Young's, fantastic creation for others and his playmaking, which has been phenomenal to start the season. Some of their biggest strengths were their kind of loaded wing rotation and forward rotation. And it's been, injured. I think KP's played 2 games so far. Jalen Johnson's missed 1 of their 4 games. Zachary Richard's played in 2 of the 4 games. So they haven't really been, they haven't had a stacked deck just yet. They haven't had their fully loaded team. And that does kind of matter to me at times, especially defensively for them. The thing that really concerns me and what did concern me heading into the season, especially with the departure of like Karis LeVert a season ago, or this past offseason, their offense just looks horrific without Trae Young on the floor. I mean, we're only 4 games into the season, but they're nearly 26 points better when he's on the floor versus when he's off offensively. I mean, that is just such a monumental swing that they just can't survive these non-Trae Young minutes. That's not Nickeil Alexander-Walker's game, and he's kind of struggled from 3 to start the season. He'll get better shooting-wise. That's not really Nickeil Alexander-Walker's game. Dyson Daniels has been horrendous offensively to start the year, so much so that it would concern me, right? His drives to the basket have just looked completely out of control, and he just doesn't look very confident in his offensive game right now. It's a little bit concerning because you just paid him quite a bit of money. So, that's a little bit alarming to me, but I think they'll figure it out. I'm not overly concerned for them. My expectation, I did pick them to finish 4th in the East in the regular season. So I did have pretty high expectations for them. Wouldn't be the first time that I picked them to do well and they've completely fucked me. In fact, that's actually pretty in line with what Atlanta has done to me over the years whenever I've bought into them. But one of the things I am genuinely concerned about is their offense without Trae Young because it has been bad. Luke Kennard, it's funny to watch this Luke Kennard experience go. Every single team Luke Kennard goes to, people, the fans within a week are like, this guy's like statistically one of the best 3-point shooters ever by percentages. Why the fuck's he not shooting? Why does he never shoot the basketball? I think I saw Okongwu's averaging more threes a game, threes attempted, and he's been hitting them. Okongwu's looked good so far. More threes per game attempted than Luke Kennard. That's who he's always been. So those are the things I'm concerned about for Atlanta. Orlando, I'm alarmed. I just got to be real. I am alarmed with the start for the Orlando Magic. Very, very disappointing. Very disappointing. They are 1-3. I think the thing that really kind of sticks out to me that's scary, offense hasn't been good. Okay, that's kind of to be expected. You would have liked to see more improvement. Of course, we're a weekend. You would have liked to see a little bit more improvement going from where they were last year to bringing in like Desmond Bane and Paolo and Franz getting another year under their belt, staying healthy, whatever. I think that stuff will figure itself out. Defensively, they have not been very good so far this season. And that was like their main calling card. And they're not going to be good if they're not elite defensively. Now, again, it's really, really early. Some of their stuff defensively, like Jalen Suggs is on a very strict minute restriction, only playing 20 minutes a game right now. Whenever he's back and, fully acclimated, that'll all improve because I think he's looked really good so far to start the year. One other thing is, I'm assuming they're going to get Mo Wagner back at some point. I'm trying to remember when he tore his ACL. That'll help them out tremendously because Goga, there's been plays with Goga where I'm like, dude, what are you fucking doing? Like, you have to at least attempt to get back on the other end of the court to help play defense. And Wendell, we saw this in their game against Philly last night. Wendell's he's had some moments, and but when you start playing these bigger centers, and Andre Drummond was working his ass on the glass, it's difficult to finish possessions when you're getting out rebounded so much. But offensively, that's the big concern, because defensively, I think they'll figure it out. But offensively, they're shooting fewer threes than anybody in the league so far to start the season, and they're shooting 28% on those threes. So that was the concern for them a year ago. Hey, Suggs' shot looks good. Again, so when he's starting to get more acclimated and he's 30-plus minutes a game, that'll be fine. Desmond Bane has not shot well from three so far. Either A, that'll sort itself out and his percentages will go up, or B, Orlando is cursed. There's something wrong with the arena. There's something wrong with the jerseys. Maybe the pinstripes are actually weighing them down. Maybe the pinstripes actually add weight to the jersey, which then kind of weighs down the shoulders, and the players aren't used to that added weight. So that's what's affecting their shot. I don't know what the case is. That very well could be it, because it doesn't make much sense. There's guys who are good NBA shooters who go there and just never know how to shoot basketball again. Tyus Jones has been fucking dreadful as well, and Paolo has not looked great. The concerning thing for Paolo is his shot diet's never been good, right? The people like myself who have been like, yeah, Paolo's going to figure it out, banking on the size, the athleticism, the playmaking ability he does have, all kind of working itself out. But the athleticism has been not great. He hasn't, when he goes up, he's been like a below the rim finisher. Like he goes up for layup attempts so far this season. He's gone up like he's a 6'2" guy, like he's Trae Young. That's a little bit concerning to me. And Franz Wagner, I saw a stat that was floating around that I think it's 16 points per game for Franz in the first half of games. And Franz will have these first halves where you're like, holy fuck, Franz is making this all NBA leap like it's happening right now. And it's like 6 points per game in the second half, and he's barely even touching the ball. Last night, he played half the third quarter and got 2 total touches. I mean, that just cannot happen. Jamal Mosley definitely is somebody to, if this keeps going bad, I think Jamal Mosley's on the hot seat for sure. Get behind me, Jamal Mosley. But also, I think part of that is like, dude, at a certain point, Franz is going to have to get it through his skull that, like, dude, I might be the best player on this team. Like, I really am probably the best player on this team. I need to just take over. I need to be assertive and aggressive the entire game. My team will be better off. So we'll see if that happens over the course of the season. But I'm a little bit concerned with what we've seen so far from the Orlando Magic. Orlando Magic! The Detroit Pistons. The Detroit Pistons, I think, deserve a little bit of a shout here. They're 2-2, haven't looked all that impressive to start the season. Did get a nice win against the Houston Rockets, but just got blown out last night. A lot of these teams just got blown out last night, so that's kind of why. Recency bias. Blown out against the Cavs, opening night loss against the Bulls. I am adding them here, but I'm not overly worried. Cade is in the midst of a serious funk to start the season. I mean, he's 36% from the field. Kind of notorious slow starter. I mean, obviously 5.5 turnovers as well. He'll be okay. What's really hurting this team right now is this: they have a lack of ball handling, a serious lack of ball handling, and these things will hopefully work themselves out, right? Jaden Ivey, a huge piece for them, hasn't played yet so far this season. He'll be back at some point. A little bit concerned that he's now had 2 pretty significant lower body injuries over the last calendar year for a guy whose game is sort of built on athleticism. Marcus Sasser hasn't played yet this season. He will help them out. Karis LeVert's only played in 1 game. They brought him in to help out with the ball handling duty. So there hasn't been a lot of ball handling help for Cade Cunningham. He's been struggling to start the year. I think they'll be okay. All right. I think they'll be fine. Sar Thompson looks fantastic, by the way. Low-key the best Thompson twin to start the season. Something to think about. Something to consider. Raptors, high expectations. No, not necessarily. I did think that they would probably be a play-in team so far this year. They've looked fucking horrible. They're 1-3. Their starting 5 has played more than any other lineup in the league so far this season. We're talking very small sample size stuff here, guys. But B.I., Jakob Poeltl, RJ Quickly, and Scotty Barnes, they've played 52 minutes. That's more than any other starting 5 or any other 5-man group in the NBA. That group has a -20 net rating so far. So it's just getting absolutely crushed offensively. They've looked really rough. Jakob Poeltl's looked dreadful to start the season. He's dealing with an injury. Like, he's clearly playing through an injury. Quickly has looked dreadful to start the season. And that's not very good, because my big concern for them was their depth's not great. And I did like their starting group, which is why I did think they'd be a 9th seed. I think that's what I predicted them as. I like their starting 5. And so far, that group has not played well together. Their wings have been pretty good. Ingram's looked solid. RJ's looked solid. Scotty's looked solid. But it's really Quickly who's been stinky and Jakob Poeltl who's been stinky. And they don't really have the pieces. If like Jakob Poeltl gets hurt, they're in some serious trouble like right away. So yeah, I'm a little bit concerned for them to start the year. They just look disjointed, and I don't love it. Let's go to the Western Conference. The Pelicans, vomit-inducing. I picked them to finish 13th in the West, so it's not like I had high expectations for them. Them not being good hasn't really surprised me much. They are 0-3 to start the year. They took the Spurs to overtime. They just got absolutely cremated by the Boston Celtics, who are probably not a very good team. The reason why this is so sickening is, dude, they gave away their lottery pick. I call it a lottery pick. It'll almost certainly be a lottery pick. They gave away an unprotected first next year. I mean, what the fuck? I mean, I don't look. I know the Luka trade. There's no competing with it realistically, but the Pelicans draft trade is so terrible. I genuinely cannot get over it. They're 0-3 to start the year. I think Jordan Poole's leading them in shot attempts. Like, congratulations, you're the Washington Wizards. You are the Wizards. Trey Murphy hasn't looked good to start the year. Now, the encouraging thing, I guess I would say, Zion missed last night's game with what was called a foot contusion. I'm hoping that's just kind of rest for him and just load managing. If it's a thing that he's going to be dealing with, yeah, that's horribly alarming. So far this season, again, such small sample stuff. I think we're even talking 2 games because Zion missed last night's game. They are +4 when Zion's on the floor. Right? That's good. That's solid. -28 when he's off. So their season being even competent sort of hinges on Zion playing. And if this foot contusion thing is anything more than just an excuse to get him some early season rest, then I'm pretty alarmed. So yeah, ring the bell there. The Timberwolves, I'm throwing them in here. They're 2-2. Anthony Edwards has been out with a hamstring thing. So, it's not the end of the world for them. But I am throwing them in here because if you've watched them, there's some very serious alarm bells that I think are ringing off, which is why I'm giving them this emoji. Because I'm monitoring this. It's the reason why I wasn't that high on them entering the season. The concerns I had are rearing their ugly head pretty quickly here. One, Gobert has clearly lost his step. Clearly. And if he's not all-world defensively, it changes them significantly. And they have no point guards on their team at all. So this team is going to be carried hard by Anthony Edwards. Carried hard. He's going to have... obviously he's always been one of the most valuable players in the league. They've always kind of went as Anthony Edwards went, but that becomes even more so the case with the way they've looked so far this season. Nate DiVincenzo is not a point guard. He's a turnover machine. Bones Highland stinks. I'm sorry. God bless the guy. And Rob Dillingham has not looked good either to start his career. They have a serious point guard problem because Mike Conley looks like he's done. He's like Mike Conley looks like he's entering his like Garrett Temple arc where it's like, oh fuck, he's still in the league. He hasn't played in 6 years. And I hate that for him, but that looks to be the case. They're dealing with injuries, and Terrence Shannon Jr. has been disappointing to start the year as well. I'm monitoring this situation because there's, assuming Anthony Edwards comes back healthy, there's going to be a lot asked of him. A lot. The Mavericks, yeah, this emoji, I'm assuming this is like more teary-eyed. By the way, how do you guys like this format, the emoji format? You can't, hey, I like it. It might be a little bit unk, but I like it. I'm unk, not chopped. That was something that I've learned. I'm unk, not chopped. I'm not unk and chopped. I'm just unk. Mavericks, yeah, it's been rough. They've been the worst offense in the league to start the season. What do you say? It's bad. The vibes are really bad. I will say, there's a couple things from the last few games that I think are positives that they can take. Defensively, I think they're starting to sort of find some stuff. Max Christie's been a huge bright spot for the team, and he's somebody that addresses a lot of the concerns that you had. Like, his point of attack defense has looked phenomenal so far. He did a great job on Shai Gilgeous-Alexander last night in their loss to the Thunder. But a few of the alarming concerns, their offense looks horrible. Again, some things to build off of over the last few games for them, even though they didn't score a lot of points against the Thunder. I thought that was some of the best offensive process they've had so far this season. They were just missing some shots that I think they'll probably hit at a higher clip. I don't know about a high clip, but at a higher clip than the one they had last night. AD's just looks better at the 5. It's kind of been a blessing in disguise that he's almost had to play that because Gafford's been out. And Coop just, Coop's been an 18-year-old kid. I mean, I think the Mavs being a good, successful team kind of hinged on Coop coming in and being a top 50, top 70 player right away. And I do think there's time and definitely a world where by February he is that. But just right now, he hasn't been that. And the team is struggling a little bit because of it. Not totally his fault, because I don't know why the fuck they immediately went to the Cooper point guard thing. They're not really running any type of action to get him going. And I don't fully understand it. I watch some of these other rookies play, and it's like teams are running them off screens. Teams are getting them the ball in hit-ahead situations. I think part of that is like, he's trying to figure out his role on a team that's a little bit more loaded than what you would normally see for a first-round pick in terms of talent and just established talent, NBA talent. But yeah, there's a ways to go, and I'm just waiting. I think it'll come at some point where a moment just kind of clicks on for him, where it's like, hey man, just go out and play your fucking game. He's way too passive at times, right? Playing a little too scared, picking up his dribble after only one dribble, getting past the guy and then picking up his dribble instead of just attacking the rim with relentlessness. So I think that'll happen. I think that moment will happen at some point. The question is when. But yeah, they've learned a few things. When D'Lo and AD are on the floor together, the Mavericks win those minutes. When Coop and Derek Lively are on the floor together, the Mavericks win those minutes. So I do wonder if, there's pathways there that I see, but I am quite concerned. They've been boring so far. They're the worst offense in the league through the first week. It's alarming. It is. I mean, there's no two ways around it. The vibes are not good. We'll just leave it there. The vibes are not good. And we'll end off here with Houston. They're 2-2. I'm sorry, 1-2. Kind of a similar situation to Dallas in a way, where they're kind of doing a point guard by committee thing, and it's been a little bit rocky to start, but I'm not worried about them whatsoever. I just felt like including them just because, again, they are 1-2. I'm really not that concerned for them. I think they'll figure it out. I trust their infrastructure. I trust their coaching staff. I trust their talent more than I do the Mavs. So I 100% think that they will be fine. Amin Thompson, the stuff that I'm a little bit concerned about is like, all right, Amin Thompson maybe looks like he's not ready to take like a ginormous leap like we are maybe hoping. Again, I mentioned earlier, like Asar's just straight up looked better than him so far this season. Reed Shepherd also doesn't look like he's like fully ready, but it's also early in the season. Like those two can find a groove in December, and now it's like, oh, those two are ready. I also think this team is a team that will be aggressive come trade season. So just something to monitor. A few other teams I thought about including on here that I decided not to. The Grizzlies. Did I include the Grizzlies on here? No, I didn't. The Grizzlies, they're 2-2. They've had a couple bad losses in a row. Got absolutely steamrolled by the Miami Heat, who might be pretty good, honestly. They also got beat last night pretty badly by the Warriors, who look like they're a really solid team. The Grizzlies just lack. I mean, they just, I don't know what it is, man. That the soul of this team has just been sucked out of them slowly, it feels like. Through all of the off-court stuff and the losing in the playoff stuff, like, they have no grit. They have no heart, it feels like at times. I'm just being truthful. Like, Draymond was fucking emoting all over him last night, and they just did nothing about it. So it's kind of sad to see, actually. But I didn't want to include them because I didn't think they were going to be good coming into the season. Pacers are 0-3. They haven't looked great at all. Again, didn't think they would be good. Celtics are 1-3. Didn't think they would be good. So it's kind of whatever to me. Yeah, and that's that. Let me know, what are some disappointing teams that you're actually very concerned about? It's 1 week, baby. We love these overreactions, man. It's part of the fun.